Good morning, everybody. You are tuned to Computers 2K now on the Nissan Communications Network. I'm Amnon, your host for the next couple hours, along with Katie.
Good morning.
Good morning. And God is here.
Good morning.
Good morning. Nick should join us, but Spence is still up in Alaska. Our
You just
number is
moved there.
well. Our number is 919-518-9773. Computers 2K voice on Skype. And today's show is made possible by vMix software and is sponsored by Tom Sinclair of live streaming gear. So another week went by.
Yep.
Indeed.
Don't have anything really new, but doing a lot of 3D printing, having a lot of fun.
Are you noticing the fumes yet?
No, I put the window open when the weather's nice. Or not nice, but nicer when it's
Yeah.
not like 100% humidity. And no, I haven't had a problem. And plus I have it in its own room and I keep the door shut, so I definitely don't smell it throughout the house or anything like that.
Good.
But yeah, I'm obsessed with it. So if anybody's thinking about getting a 3D printer, well, I just say if they have hobbies, then they should get one. Because if you don't have hobbies, then maybe you don't know what to print and then you'll just have a 3D printer and it sits there. But if you have any kind of hobby that requires pieces like gaming or building stuff, then it's like mm, choice.
Yeah, like you said, you already used it for a very practical use of creating
I
a
did.
bracket.
Yeah, so got a bookshelf off of Facebook Marketplace, and the brackets were jerry rigged by old screws and stuff, and uh they were just falling apart, which is why I got it for like $5. But so I printed out shelf brackets, the little L bar shelf brackets or whatever, and screwed them in, and so now they hold my books. And it's awesome. So I'm
Yep.
not just only 3D printing little toys, I'm 3D printing practical things.
Yep. Yeah, I've heard about people making handles for their drawer because they can't find the one that's like set. They don't
Yeah.
sell these anymore, so they somehow make their own.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
love thinking of things to print when I'm, like, looking around the house, like, "This would be nice, this would be nice," and then I just go on Thingiverse or Printify or whatever it is, and a lot of people post stuff for free, so I just download it.
yeah,
But random, but this is tech related, so, I thought I would talk about it on the show. Uh I use TikTok, and my friend started using TikTok, and for whatever reason, we couldn't follow each other. There was a glitch where you have to, in order to communicate or send direct messages, send TikToks to each other, you have to follow each other on TikTok so that you can't get spammed with random stuff from strangers. Um, and every time she would follow me, it would automatically unfollow. And so she would click it, and then it would say, "Oh, you're not following," and then she would click it again, and like we went back and forth forever trying to figure this out. So it was a glitch on their end, and we were really frustrated. So I found where you could submit tickets on TikTok in the app, and I submitted a ticket, and I took a picture, or my friend sent a picture, um, showing like, "Hey, we're not following each other. We're not friends. Even though I clicked it, here's where I clicked it, and then here's where it took me off, and then I showed a picture of like here our chat thing is where it's not working, blah blah blah." And I wrote a little paragraph. Uh, they fixed it in, like, 3 days. So, in, like, 3 days, I went on and I was like, "Oh, you have a new follower," and it's my friend, and I went and I could send message to her, and I was like, "Whoa," they actually did the ticket, which impressed me because whenever I mean, I haven't really submitted tickets to any other social media, but I've heard of other people that are trying to fix stuff, like something's broken, and they completely ignore it, like Facebook or Instagram or whatever. It's like, "Oh, I guess this is just gonna be a problem now." But no, whoever was assigned to it went in and fixed whatever reason, and, now we could send messages to each other, which is nice.
Did
So
they
a little thing.
did they tell you that they fixed it?
No, no, it just started working.
So
And
it's possible that it actually was a glitch somewhere that got fixed by itself also. Don't give
Uh,
him credit so
maybe.
fast.
I mean, there's always that possibility, but she's been having problems with her account since she created it.
Mhm.
So she's had the account for, like, a month, and and she went and she followed tried to follow a bunch of people, and she wasn't really paying attention, and then she noticed that it wasn't working or whatever because she doesn't use it, like, every day or and it was only when I was trying to send her stuff that we were like, "Okay, we have to figure out why your TikTok's not working."
Right, but maybe it has nothing to do with the support ticket. Maybe it has to do with the age of the account.
No, this was definitely a bug
Yeah.
because when I first made my TikTok, I instantly can follow people, and especially too, it's a social media account, so
Yeah, no.
it wants to link you with your friends, and she's my friend, she's in my phone, so it knows that she's my friend, so it keeps recommending her or their account and my other friend's account, and we could follow each other. It was just for whatever reason their account I could not follow.
Interesting.
Hmm,
Yeah, or no, I could follow, but they couldn't follow me. It was so weird.
Mm.
Anyways, I think it had to do with the ticket because she's having problems this whole time, and then it got fixed.
nice. Okay.
Or maybe it didn't. Either way, it's a happy
Well,
coincidence.
No, no,
it
no, no,
works. Sorry,
Yeah.
God. What?
uh, I mean, it's nice. It's like something suddenly works,
Yeah.
and even and the possibility that a support ticket actually did it. Yeah, I agree. It's when you get support, it is nice.
Yeah, yeah, usually when I try to put in support for these things, even if you do end up talking to a person, which this was just you just throw it into the ether, but, like, on other stuff, there's, like, the person 9 times out of 10, they're like, "Oh, well, this is a bug, and IT's aware of it, and we're gonna try to fix it, but who knows?" And then, like, you never find out.
No. Yeah, it's I would think that in most cases, unless they're getting quite a few complaints, then it's not a bug. That's the way they take it. Now, I mean, if
I
that
know,
was a
I agree,
problem,
which is why I was surprised to see
yeah,
that this was fixed
yeah,
because it's one user case, it's a new user, so it's not like it's somebody that super influential or whatever, but it works now, so awesome. Thank you. Thank you, TikTok. I'm sure the TikTok CEO and support team are watching this show, so thank you.
a good one. Um, Last week, AMD announced what are probably the last major GPU launches of this generation of graphics card, the 449 Radeon RX 7700 XT and 499 RX 7800. AMD's pricing and performance numbers pit the cards against NVIDIA GeForce RTX 4060 Ti, specifically the 499 16 gig version, and the 599 4070. AMD's pricing is aggressive enough that NVIDIA is quietly cutting the price of some 16 gig RTX 4060 Ti cards to 449 to match the RX 7700 XT. It's nice because when there's competition, the consumer is always the winner,
Mhm.
and that is very nice. I mean, I'm not into the GPU game. I don't know how much these were, but
Didn't you this was NVIDIA, you said?
yeah,
Didn't wasn't NVIDIA, like, for the past year, were they in trouble with, like, but just a bunch of stuff, and so
It's
uh
it's not that they were in trouble. They made some decisions that backfired, but it seems like everything is fine. Yeah, when
well,
they
yeah, because they
stop.
need to make money.
Yeah,
At the end of the day, if they're gonna do whatever they can to try to make money because 'cause they're a company, which is fine, that's not, like, a negative comment or whatever.
right.
It's just their decisions beforehand were poor, and so now they're going back to it sounds good for the consumer, the
Yep,
lowering of the prices,
yep.
so
Exactly, exactly. How many gigs are on your GPU, AD, do you know?
that's different from RAM, right?
Yeah, that's not RAM. That's the video card with so many.
It's either it might be a terabyte.
No, there is no such.
No, 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 no. So which GPU do you have?
When we say GPU, you talking about graphics card?
Yeah.
Yes,
I've got a 3090, I think.
3090. So you either have a 12 or a 16. I think there's the 3090s are 16 gigabytes.
Oh, okay, okay. Because I know at one point I was looking at graphics cards or looking at something and it was like terabyte, but I don't know enough
Yeah,
about
terabyte is
computers.
something else. It's storage, drive
Yeah.
storage.
Ah,
That
okay.
won't be.
Ignore me.
It might be flash SSD, right? But that isn't connected to the GPU.
Right. How about you, God? What do you have?
Oh, I have an old one. I have the 1080,
That's newer than mine.
uh, and I think it has 8 gigabytes. I might be wrong, and it's four. I haven't looked at it in a while. This is a machine from 2016.
Do you want to hear
So,
something crazy? Sorry, I don't mean to interrupt you, but I had a
oh yeah, go ahead.
1060 or 1070 previously, and when I was looking a few years ago to update my computer, the first thing I was going to update was my graphics card to kind of piecemeal it. Um, and when I bought my 1060, it was $200. And I
Mhm.
know that things were going crazy a few years ago because of Bitcoin, all that stuff. That card was $700 online.
Yeah, I know.
Absolutely insane. And
I
so
know. I know.
I know
I
everybody
know.
was feeling it.
I had a plan of selling this GPU at that time. I just didn't pull the trigger, and not buying like a very low end video card just so I'll sell it. And then when things calm down, buy a new GPU. But yeah, I should have done it, but I didn't do it. I know there are people
Ah,
who did.
I'm thankful that the prices came back down because they were up there for a while. Because I've been wanting to upgrade my computer. My computer's 10 years old, and it's a great computer. I'm done built it. Amazing quality work. Mwah, chef's kiss. Um, and but the last 4-ish years, I've been trying to upgrade it, and the prices have been ridiculous. And then I pulled the trigger on the Costco deal because I got a $900 computer, and it had a 3090 in it, and I was like, "I don't care what the rest of it is, just the fact that I could get a graphics card for under a graphics card that's a lot better than what I was currently using for that price." I was like, "Sold, Costco, you got me."
yep, you did good.
Yeah.
Yep, you did very, very good. Um, okay, let's see what else I have here. Uh, Spence always was talking about Wyze security cameras. He likes them, and they're good. They're good uh, make of security cameras. But this article here, a web caching issue resulting in some Wyze security camera owners being able to see webcam feeds that weren't theirs. This is coming
Yeah.
from The Verge. Earlier on Friday, users on Reddit made posts about the issue. Went to check on my cameras and they are all gone and replaced with a new one. And this isn't mine. Apologies if this is your house or dog. I don't want it showing up as much as you don't want it. I'm able to click the events tab and see all the events on this random person camera inside their house.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I don't know why, but I could see someone else's camera. I wrote another one. Each thread has comments from other Reddit users reporting similar issues. Shockingly, says I even saw some instances of people claiming they saw the same cameras that other people did. The user reports indicated that they were seeing the other feeds through Wyze's web viewer at view.wyze.com. No information whether they fixed it or not. But
I
I
mean,
guess if it's a caching issue, it's just reboot, right?
it's a bummer,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
But this is exactly the reason why you should not want to use something that is served from outside
From
your home,
yep.
right? Because of mistakes like this, because of breaches, because I
Yep.
mean, just keep that in mind. When you're doing that, you're signing up for if there's a malfunction, don't worry about malicious, right?
Mhm.
Malicious, you can be targeted as well,
Right.
right?
Right.
It just once they are targeted and they are breached, then it affects a lot more people. So, but yeah, it's like completely understand that the same way somebody else might accidentally receive your stream for some reason, right?
Right.
Um, that can also happen intentionally by an employee. they
Yeah.
they design these better and better with time, right? And it's less likely to happen as we advance. But understand, you are by paying for the convenience of this being managed externally, hosted externally, accessed externally, you are exposed. You're exposing yourself. So always think about how much you're exposing yourself when it comes to these.
Yep.
I have a friend who is they bought a new house, and the contractor is working with a local supplier of one of the service provider for ADT in the
Mhm.
area, right? And so there's a smart home bundle that is provided, and I'm looking at it. There's like I don't know, it's like a fee, a $50 a month fee, and they get coverage by ADT, and they get the installation, and they get. I mean, overall, it looks very, very nice, very convenient. Maybe a bit pricey, but if you're not going to invest the time in doing it, I understand why it's appealing, right? I know not like the common person knows nothing about this, hasn't done the research, does not know how complex it is. Not to talk about the installation process that sometimes can be cumbersome. But understand that you're exposed. And that always was the case, right? Even
Yeah.
when we're talking about 90s, the 90s and alarm systems that phone back to um, some monitoring company,
Service. Yeah.
right? That monitoring company has control over your safety.
Right.
So always understand what you're
If
exposing.
yeah, if they're bored,
Yeah.
they can just say, "Let's go look here. Let's go look there." Yeah. I'm sure.
Now, one of the things that have changed substantially in the past 5 to 10 years, right, is people that are installing security cameras are no longer installing them facing out only, right? A lot of people, like in the article, are placing cameras inside their
Inside.
home
Well,
to
ADT
in
does
order
it.
for communicate for mundane reasons completely, right? But they are inviting, right, an external party into
Mhm.
their home.
Right.
So it's one thing if you're monitoring the outside, right? Because that is public
Yeah.
area. Anybody who's outside can see that and can place their own theoretically, right? So that's one thing. this is providing access to inside your home.
Yep.
So yeah, keep that in mind.
Yeah.
Always understand that that's the case. Somebody else is watching. Always think about that.
Good. Good. Good point.
Yeah.
I also, this isn't specific to security systems. I heard a few years ago there was like a scandal with baby monitors, and baby monitors were really easy to hack into or jailbreak or whatever it is. Uh, and everybody was getting access. Not everybody, but people were getting access to the cameras because I think it because it had an open network or something. I don't know. This was years ago, and I don't know enough about it,
It has
but
to be an open network because that's how it goes to the monitoring.
Well,
yeah. So
there are two types of baby monitors today. There are those who connect to Wi-Fi, right? And if you had that on an open Wi-Fi, for example, then
Mhm.
yes, you're completely exposed. But that's completely on whoever set it up. But the second one is the RF based, uh, where you get uh, the camera is transmitting to a specific receiver that sits, I don't know, in the kitchen, right? Something like that, away from the
Right. That's
and
local.
that is not necessarily encrypted in any way or encoded, and so anybody with an RF receiver that can speak that protocol, right, can just sit outside the house and receive that signal. Um,
Yep.
both are exposing you. Yeah,
So keep
definitely
going,
possible.
Katie.
oh, nothing. It's just that was my news. A lot of people were cracking into baby monitors, and I don't know why, but if it was on an open network, that would explain it. So if they had a private internet network, would people not be able to get into it?
Well, there's another aspect. It's we're talking about a small electronic circuit with some sort of controller that on it has something called a network stack, right? And so that's what's connecting to the Wi-Fi. If that network stack is crappy to begin with, it can be hacked regardless of the Wi-Fi signal,
Right.
right? You can impersonate any Wi-Fi signal you want that this stack would accept, right? And hacking to it is also possible. Those were incidents that happened in the past. Today it's a bit better, a bit, right? But still, those cheap circuits, they're still out there. They're easy to hack if you know what you're doing, if you have the right equipment, which isn't too complex. I mean, anybody with a Raspberry Pi and probably a USB transmitter can build a, a huge range of hacking systems. So,
So
uh,
then, what about the camera that is? So my Bamboo Lab printer came with a camera attached, so you can watch your prints. How secure is that?
how are you connecting to that camera?
It connects to the app that I can access on my desktop,
Right,
or
and the
and on my
camera
phone.
itself is what? Is USB connected to the machine?
No, oh, I don't know if it's USB. It's like built into it.
The laptop.
No,
She's
it's
talking.
part of the printer.
It's part of the printer.
Oh,
Yeah,
you're talking about the one for
Yeah.
the
Usually it's basically a USB cam hooked up, and you're getting it from the server that you're interacting with, right? There's a web interface or app that,
yeah.
so it's using some, so I mean, it might, right? One of the things to look for is, do they issue firmware updates with security updates? Because every once in a while, the OS that it's running, right, has security updates. Uh, I'm guessing it's based on some sort of Linux with a BusyBox implementation. So, are they updating the BusyBox based firmware or not? Like that.
Mhm. So not to be paranoid, but anybody that has a camera, anybody and access the internet, anybody could have access to it.
well,
Yeah, theoretically, yes.
theoretically. I mean,
Do you know the show last night was last week tonight?
Yeah, with John
John
Oliver.
Oliver, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So way back when Snowden was a big deal, he got an interview with Snowden, and he framed the question perfectly, right? He asked him, "So who has access to my dick pics?" That was his question. Like he framed
Yeah.
it like this, and he framed it. Okay, so if I take the photo and I put it here, like, will they get? Who do they have access to it? And almost always the answer of yes.
Yes.
you
Somebody has it.
everybody, yeah, that they got us access. Assume there's access. Assume somebody knows how to hack into it.
There's a
Perfect.
there's a nice show on TV, one of the CSI Cyber,
Okay,
and it is very interesting. I mean, they are is computer geeks and nerds that are working on with they're part of the FBI
yeah,
and how they and it's very interesting. I mean, a lot of the things that's happening there, you said, yeah, you make it look like it was very easy, but but it is there are things in there that you say, wow, how you get into other people's computers and how did this criminal did that and what did he do and how did he cover himself and amazing. Um, I was there was yesterday on one of them there was somebody was cyberbullied at school and they found out who did it and they when they confronted her she said, well, you can't prove any of that because I know that you cannot track a burner phone. And the, the guy from Cyber said, well, that's true. But what you don't know is that the very first time when you connect a phone to the network, it does
right.
tell you who it is. And she said, oh, and you never think about things like that. It's interesting. It's an interesting point, and I'm sure that they have consultants that tells them what is.
There, I'm guessing they're using consultant, and it's always a bit out there.
Yeah,
But everything. I mean, it's like cryptocurrency can't be right. The myth that cryptocurrency can't be tracked.
right,
Cryptocurrency in itself does not. The transaction itself does not identify the end user. That's correct, right?
right.
But it is always connecting somewhere to reality, right? So
Yeah,
even a burner phone, if you connect that burner phone, if you make a call to a number, there is an identification point,
has to
right?
be.
Because somebody answered,
Yeah,
somebody identified who is on the other line,
yep.
right? So yes, you cannot track it forensically and say this is that person. But the moment you interrogate whoever received the call, right, and you know that that call belongs to them, then yes, then you're starting to have some sort of truth, right? Some sort of in real life pinpoint
Yep.
that you start tracking. Uh, as long as you, if you buy two pieces of a burner phone, right? You paid cash for them. There's
Mhm.
no identification in the process. Uh, Activation is possible without an ID. Then theoretically, yes, you can track those phones, right? But you
But
do
you
not know who they
oh,
belong to,
they right.
right?
Wait, I
So
think or missing the this is okay. You blew my mind here for a second. This I'm assuming this was a child that was cyberbullying?
Yeah.
A
No,
child bu
cyberbullied.
cyberbullied. A child bought a burner phone just to cyberbully somebody
Okay, no,
else?
it was an adult actually
Okay,
that
because I
was
was about to
doing the
be
bully.
like
Yeah.
"What is this?" Like,
Yeah,
so
well,
this
that
that's absolutely insane, and also, what the heck, woman? Why are you cyberbullying children? And,
uh,
well, like, what did she watch an episode of CSI? And she's like, "I know what I need, and in order to bully kids, I need a burner phone. That's what the drug dealers use." Like, what in the world, lady?
that's the way the criminal mind works is weird. I mean, and we don't understand it exactly.
Yeah,
Jeez.
but remember what they call a burner phone is a completely legitimate phone.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It's
I
just a prepaid phone that is what you are offering to people who do not have bank accounts, who still need to communicate, right? They are cheap, right? And that is why they are also affordable. And yeah, you can pay 40 bucks to get a phone with unlimited calls for a month or something like that.
listen,
Like
I'm
it,
not
that
dissing.
exists.
I'm not dissing the burner phone. I'm not dissing the extra phone. I love the phones. When I traveled abroad 10 years ago, that's what I bought because it was cheaper just to buy a prepaid phone and use it there. But what's blowing my mind is the concept that this lady is like, oh, I'm not gonna get caught if I use a secondary phone. And then when she got brought with being caught, instead of being like apologetic and I'm sorry, she's like, "Oh, well, you can't track me. You can't prove it's me because I got a burner phone." And
yeah,
they're like, "Actually," like that's what's blowing my mind. Like, okay, sorry, we gotta move on.
yeah. Lucky us that they, like, lucky us on the right side of the law that people like that don't think too deep. But there are some that do. Anyway, um, those of you with iPhones,
Oh
talking
gosh.
about hacking also.
Oh
Apple
boy.
released security updates on Thursday that patch two zero-day exploits. That's meaning hacking technique that were unknown at the time Apple found out about them. They were used against a member of a civil society organization in Washington, D.C., according to the researchers who found the vulnerability. Citizen Lab, an internet watchdog group that investigates government malware, published a short blog post explaining that last week they found a zero click vulnerability, meaning that the hacker's target doesn't have to tap or click anything, such as an attachment used to target victims with malware. So it, that means that if you got an email with malware, there was a vulnerability that made your phone vulnerable even without you clicking on anything. I mean,
Okay, this is interesting. Why is it interesting?
okay,
Because this is an update
yeah,
that there is a group of people that will not want to update because we're talking about iPhone. Because this is a possibility to jailbreak. If you can compromise the phone, then you can jailbreak the phone. So
yeah,
that's the thing with iPhone. All right, iOS does not allow root access to anyone,
yeah.
right? And by not allowing root access, you are blocking any possibility of sideloading stuff that doesn't come from the App Store. That has been the problem, right, with iOS since the days of its inception, and uh, and every single vulnerability like this, right, is what has been used to jailbreak these phones. Now, this one specifically, this sounds a bit more complex because it you you do not need to do anything intentional in order to be exposed, right? But still, it means, right, that there's a way of jailbreaking the phone. So that's always the problem with these security patches.
Mhm.
They are there at times to protect the consumer, but most times they are there to protect the designer of the hardware. So,
And yeah, interesting. You're right. All right. OpenAI recently shared guidelines for educators on using ChatGPT as an educational tool in a blog post, also noting in a related FAQ the ineffectiveness of AI writing detectors often resulting in false positives against students. In a section of the FAQ titled, "Do AI detectors work?" OpenAI writes, "In short, no. While some, including OpenAI, have released tools that purport to detect AI generated content, none of these have proven to reliably distinguish between AI generated and human generated content."
I'm not surprised.
Yeah, I mean, but they were saying, "Oh yeah, you can find out right away." Remember those students
Yeah, I
that were
remember,
failed?
and I never understood the logic around it.
Yeah.
So
So no, there is no way to reliably tell, and
I mean, even if something was generated by AI and then edited by a human, how
that's
can
it.
you?
Yep.
How is it? First of all, is it human created or is it AI created? That's number one. Third, is it important? Right? And most important, right, is I think Katie, you quoted some ruling that was done not too long ago that says, "Hey, if you use content generated by AI, it's just whatever the AI created. That's not copyrighted, right?"
Yeah, yeah, that's true.
So that's the reality we're in. I think it was a good ruling. I do not know if it'll stick. I don't think it's Supreme Court yet, but um, it's an interesting world we're living in. I mean, we are literally living in 1979, George Lucas's Star Wars, where they enter the bar and the bartender says, "We do not serve these on the androids," right?
Mhm.
It's like this is literally the reality we're in today. We are, it's our responsibility to prove we are not robots, and it's getting more and more and more complex,
Mhm.
right?
I don't know if I mentioned this last time, I can't remember who my conversations are everywhere. But my, sister started college, she's taking she's doing community college up in Maine, and she said that they reversed their stance on AI, where beforehand it was, like, completely banned. They're like, "Nope." And now she had to go to a seminar where they talked about how to use AI, like, I guess, safe practices or best practices or whatever. So what was interesting about it is that their stance is flipped because, um, I guess they're realizing that, okay, this is here to stay. We need to teach our students how to use this the proper way because they're gonna do it. They're gonna use it. They
Right.
can't ban access to it. So we're gonna figure out a way to use it, which is a great approach to have because this stuff's not gonna go away no matter what people do. Even if something outrageous happens, say the US government shut down AI stuff, like which isn't gonna happen, but let's just go like crazy. People are still gonna do stuff on the side. So it's good to see that people are adapting.
Yeah.
Agreed.
What God?
I agree
Yeah.
completely.
And when you're talking about, I mean, first of all, there's Alan in the chat is saying what he watched a YouTube video that shows how clandestine you must be to make it truly a burner phone. It even details using a disguise, paying cash, activating in a location different than the location of intended use. I said, buy the phone with a unique IMEI from a guy, buy a SIM card from another guy, buy minutes from a third party. I mean, if you really want to make it so it's hard for
Right.
people, fine, you can, and people do it. Criminals do it, but when you do it like what you were doing it for, Katie, hey, just get it and use it.
Yeah, yeah.
Most
When
of the
you
time you pay with a credit card.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, there
that's
you
So
that's
go.
it's
what we
like
do.
That's right.
that's the first thing. It's
Yeah.
like there's tons of things. Yeah.
It's funny when you were saying out talking about the disguise, the first thing I was picturing is the old classic, like, big, thick glasses with the mustache and nose detached when they go and buy the phone, and then making
Groucho
sure.
Marx
Yeah, Groucho.
spectacles. Yeah.
Yeah, and then the phone has a mini pair of that, so that when the phone you're using the phone, nobody could see or detect the phone. It also has a mini pair of glasses with the mustache.
No, you wrap the phone in aluminum foil.
Oh, that's it. No, but then how do you get the signal out? We need those radio waves.
Uh, anyway,
Yeah.
but when you're talking about how they make it sound like that's what they wanted with uh, GPT, because they know they're going to use it anyway. So let's come out on smelling like roses. They
Yeah.
said that. So with Apple, something similar happened. When Apple introduces the iPhone 15 on September 12th, USB-C connectors will appear on its 4 new phone models. So for sure now that will be USB-C, as well as the AirPods Pro. And Apple will describe it as a major win for customers. Customers will be able to use a single charging cable for iPhones, Macs, and iPads. It will bring breakthrough data transfer speeds, increase for the new high end iPhone models. Phones will charge faster in some instances. And finally, the phones will be compatible with charger used by billions of non-Apple devices. So they making it sound like, hey, look what we did.
Yeah, can we
Yeah.
take a minute to call out how BS this is? Because the more that they're praising how awesome this
Uh-huh.
isn't new technology.
No,
So that means to me they could have been doing this years ago,
of
but the fact that
course.
they were being buttheads about it, now they're like, "Oh, this is great. This is gonna make your life easier." Like,
Yep.
why didn't you do this 10 years ago?
Right.
Oh, I cannot roll my eyes hard enough.
But that's
So let me take you back to what 2008, 2010,
with a
right?
mini.
And Apple, Steve Jobs on the stage presenting one of the apples. I think it was the third generation, the 3S or something like that. And it says, "We now have a 3 millimeter standard jack for audio."
Yeah, the
This is
regular
after they literally created an industry, right? That created adapters
adapter.
for standard 3 millimeter, 5 millimeter jacks because they did the stupid asshole choice of using a non-standard jack to start with,
Yep.
right? It's like
Yep.
it
Which
took
They're
them,
which
of
actually cost more because you have to
course.
create something new versus just go to
Yep,
Radio Shack and pick up
yep.
the jacks. I mean, it's ridiculous. Yeah.
No, I
I
mean, they used the 2.5 millimeter. It was standard. It was just not widespread. So buying
Oh,
headsets, right, was something that you need to buy either that was designed specifically for
damn.
it or not. I mean, the choice, the engineering choice might have made sense at the beginning because they said we want to reduce footprint, right? But it's just choosing
you know,
the wrong technologies, so ridiculous. Yeah.
their marketing PR department, they are, like, moving mountains trying to,
Yeah.
get this on a positive spin, and the more I hear, it's just ridiculous. Absolutely
Yeah,
ridiculous.
it is ridiculous.
Groundbreaking technology that Android and everybody else in the universe has been using.
So Lightning connector, which is finally going away, thank God. 2012. And USB-C, let's see. I'm interested in when USB-C started hitting the market. 2014. Okay. So I understand that Lightning came out when USB-C wasn't available,
Right.
right? That is, I completely understand. And thing is, we have been dragging this for 9 years now, right? For 9 years, USB-C exists. Let's say 5 to 6 years where it has actually established its presence, right? And only now Apple is making that change.
And only because the EU is forcing its
Yeah.
hand now.
Yeah,
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 because they can't
yeah.
sell their phones
Yep,
anywhere
right.
outside the US.
Yep.
So I mean, this is a win. I do not call it a win for consumers so much as I call it a win for regulator, right? For the regulation. This is why sometimes the regulator needs to step in. Is it always okay? No, right? But this company, right, has been abusing its users for at least 5 years. And
Yeah.
only the regulator was able to make that change. Right? It sucks that we needed the regulator to do it. Completely sucks because this should have been the choice of that company. Every other company on the planet has made that choice already, right? That's the lesson I'm taking from this. That they just chose to continue and abuse their customers because this is an abuse. This is an abuse of power. This is saying it's my way and screw you
Yeah, because they
because
could.
the customers begged for it,
Yep,
right? So
yep. That's how they became so successful.
by abusing their customers,
Yeah,
I agree. That's always has been their MO. Nobody else seems to agree with me, especially those who buy their products, right? That's always what I've seen.
yep,
Now, understand this is true to any other mass produced stuff, right?
yeah.
Samsung is no different. It's not that I am praising the other guy or anything here. That has nothing to do with it. But they have definitely made this uh, their way, right? And the and I do not. I've never seen any benefit in any other thing that they brought to the table that was worth that type of behavior. So
I think it, and I don't wanna open up a can of worms or anything like that.
Open it.
Um, no, well, with companies, the more money they have, the more power they have to not have to listen to
yeah,
their customers. The small companies, like, whatever they do, if they make a wrong decision and do something to hurt their customers, then they're gonna lose out on revenue and then they'll probably go under. So this multi-billion dollar company can swing their bat however they want to, and it really does take something like you said, a government intervention or whatever to stop it because unless everybody in the world just stops using Apple, and this is for any big company, as if somebody if they have a significant portion of the consumer just cut out, which we're talking millions of people, then they're just going to keep swinging until somebody puts the hammer down.
yeah,
So that's why it's not only just Apple, but Apple, and I don't know if this is true now, but it was the company that was making the most money in the cellular world. So they could do basically whatever they wanted. Not, within, I'm over exaggerating, but when you've got billions of dollars, you can basically do whatever you want.
And when you have people that no matter what you do, keep on buying your stuff and you see that you're growing and everything, and say, hey, we're going to do whatever we want.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. All right. Those of you that looking for jobs and maybe you want to help your kids get the right education, as a growing number of hackers target companies, organizations, and industries with debilitating attacks, more skilled cybersecurity workers are urgently needed to combat the threat.
Mhm.
ISC2, the world's largest association of cyber professionals, estimates that the cybersecurity workforce in 2022 stood at about 4.7 million people globally,
Wow.
but a further 3.4 million roles remain unfilled. The gap is massive, said the chief executive of ICS2. This shortfall is felt more acutely in countries such as India, where digitis- digitization is rapid.
Mhm.
But even in the US, only 69% of cyber roles are filled, according to CyberGeek, a website that provides data about the cybersecurity job market.
That
Being in
makes sense.
cybersecurity is, and now what always happens is every time something like this comes up, then every parent is and every kid that makes their own decision decides to go into it, and before you know it, there are way too many. Um, I mean, yeah, instead of going to art or whatever, going for cybersecurity is a good thing today. When
I'm
when
I'm gonna I see what you're saying, and I agree to some extent, but at the same time, cybersecurity is something that is so specific that I think it takes a certain person with a personality to do it. Because
yeah,
not only is it computer science, but it's a specific sect of computer science.
mhm,
What is Gal?
It is
Gal,
not. It is so non-specific. It is such a wide range uh, of skills and different types of mindsets. It is such a broad area. It does not necessarily have to do with computer science at all, because 80% of hacking is actually social engineering, just
that's
the
a good point.
tie into the security aspect of it. So this is more like a mixture of some technical skills tied in with criminology. Uh,
And social
this is
skills.
this is a whole world that can
Interesting.
go from, it's a huge range. You can even be a creative mind, such as yourself, Katie, and excel in the security industry.
That's
And
interesting. I didn't think of it that way.
yeah. That's the thing. I've been in I've worked with several companies focusing on cybersecurity, right? And the the security people, those who are the security researchers, and those, they are not necessarily. There were those who majored in medicine. There were those who majored in law. There were those who were techies. There were so many different people doing that type of work, right? So it's not limited, and it's
Mhm.
not just for geeks or nerds. It's a very complex environment. Very.
Interesting. Yeah, I
Yeah.
definitely didn't think I was just thinking purely on building software, but
Yeah. So
you're right, you're
software
true.
is part of it, but that's not the biggest one.
I also think too, Amnon, these jobs are reliant on the like digital stuff, right? In the internet to some extent.
mhm,
And I feel like that's not gonna go away and that's just gonna keep growing. So yeah, if we've got 10 million kids that want to jump into cybersecurity and there's only three or not 10,000, 10 million kids and we only got 3 million jobs, then yeah, but I could see this industry continuing to
continue to
grow.
grow. Yeah, I mean, there we don't. None of us have a crystal ball to know. I'm judging it just by I remember in the beginning to say, "Oh, send them to computer science, make them learn about computers." Well, everybody went and did it, and before you know it, there are so many people out there that they can't find a job because they
Yeah,
want
that'll
something.
happen in any, that will always happen. It's
Yeah.
like it has nothing to do with, it has nothing to do with the reporting on it. Let's put it this way. It is
r-
just
Okay.
uh right now, these are, I don't even know if they are high paying jobs, but right now, right, there are jobs that pay well. The
Yes.
moment, the moment uh, uh, the industry grows beyond a certain number, that is where wages also go down,
Mhm.
right? Because you have so many people needing to work. So um, I don't think cybersecurity any day close to now is going to become a minimum wages
No,
Yeah.
no.
type of work, right? But right, it's definitely not going to be as lucrative as it is today,
Yeah.
and that's
Well,
true probably to any job,
yeah, I feel
right?
like the thing that's most threatening to cybersecurity jobs is AI and automation. But on the flip side of that, and this is true with all kinds of piracy and bad guys. As the security on a vault gets stronger, the bad guys get stronger too to fight the security. So as AI gets better to combat bad stuff, the bad guys are going to use AI to combat the AI, and so like it's like this never-ending force. So maybe within cybersecurity, again, it comes down to can these people adapt to the changes to the new technology?
That's in my opinion, that is the main point. If somebody is going to college or for anywhere to study about cybersecurity, but they don't really have the knack for it, then all they can bring to the workplace is what they learned.
Yep,
You
and
have to be adaptive. You have to be
yep.
able to learn from experiences and something new and forget about what you learned in school, maybe even at a
I would
certain
argue
point.
I would agree with that. I would also argue too that this specific field, especially with technology, and the AI stuff, by the time colleges put classes together and find professors, they're already outdated.
Yeah.
We're talking about every 6 months, there's like a new revolutionary thing that's happening with AI, happening with technology at this point. It is moving so fast that I don't know if academia can keep up. So really, like you mentioned, if the child needs to, uh, be really passionate about it because they're gonna have to do a lot of self-educating. They're gonna have to,
Mhm.
go online, they're gonna have to stay on the forums, they're gonna have to, like, wanna learn more themselves because the colleges offer a very good foundation, but they're not the cutting edge of technology. Unless you're going to, like, some college that's doing, like, research or whatever that's actually there on the ground. Um, most of that stuff, when you're talking about technology, you go to college to get the foundations and the basics, not what's on the cutting edge. I mean, but, that's not true of everything exactly, but especially in this context, I feel like you gotta be on the forums yourself and learning.
Yeah, I mean, it's unlike other trades that may not be changing. A plumber just needs to get used to new connectors and things like that. But to take 2 pipes and put them together and to put the faucet somewhere or any of these things is the same. It's you just need to learn how to do it, and then you learn how to do it, and you can keep on going. But with these things, like you said, things change. What 6 months? Sometimes it's even shorter than that.
Yep.
It's just yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I could talk about from my experience when I was in college, we were using 3D software to, make 3D renders and videos and stuff like that, and while the college, did have the latest and greatest programs, even within the program themselves, the programs, the studios weren't using some of the things that we were learning in the programs. They were using, outside company stuff. And but the thing that you've gotta learn that's important is, again, we come back to that word adaptability. So, yeah, I might not know exactly the software that the studios or the jobs are using, but I have a good foundation in something else that my skills are transferable. So, you gotta be able to bend and flow and use Google and, like, be able to adapt, or it doesn't matter what field you're in. Like, if you're not willing to adapt, you're gonna get stuck, and then you might get in trouble.
Well, it's not that you get the company that you work for in trouble because they think they have the right person.
No, well, they usually can. I mean, they'll ask you, "Have you used Arnold? Have you used this?" And they're like, "No, no." But you don't want to just say no. You'd be like, "No, I haven't. But what I have used is this, and so my skills from this can help me learn that." So that's how you answer those questions. Little interview help there if kids are going for interviews for studios.
All right, let's see here. Here's something that was interesting, and I tried it, and it works. An exploit for a bug in Windows appears to increase the performance of File Explorer in Microsoft flagship operating system.
You just spoke gibberish. What does that even mean?
Spotted over the weekend, the hack is triggered by a swift jab of the F11 key to switch File Explorer in and out of full screen mode. According to the post, load performance is improved markedly. It is true. Many times when I go on my computer in the office and I start uh, File Explorer, there's so many files that there is a green bar at the top just crawling.
Yeah, that I can
So
relate to.
I
Everything
tried it.
else, I don't understand what you're saying.
Huh?
I said, I
You
don't.
understand that?
No, I understand that because on my work computer, when I go to File
Yeah.
Explorer and I try to move stuff, it is so slow.
Okay. So now what I did yesterday is I said, okay, let's try it. So I started Explorer and it was the green was going slowly, slowly. I hit F11. It went full screen. I hit F11 again. It went back to normal and it was gone. And I tried to go to other directories and it didn't do it anymore. So try it next time. I don't know if this was a fluke or what, but it, everything came up a lot faster after
What?
that.
Why
Yeah.
does that work?
Remember what it says. It says it's an exploit
Oh my
for a
god.
bug in Windows.
It's a bug, not a no, it's a
Well,
feature, not a bug. That's
well,
what the
now it
video games
is.
companies say.
Yeah, but
Oh my
it
gosh.
worked. So
I
if
am guessing that it just skips process. So that bar that is being
yeah,
shown, that thing also happens in the background, okay, during use. So at the beginning, you're waiting for it to finish building the icon cache, stuff like that, like refreshing whatever information it's going to show you.
okay,
When you're doing an F11, you're switching to full screen mode. So that means you're stopping whatever rendering operation and you're starting a new rendering operation. Okay. So theoretically, nothing has happened. It just, okay, I'm just using the cache. And what stops probably is whatever detection process you stopped waiting for it.
okay,
So in a way, it's a bug uh, that uh, the side effect seems like you're getting everything quickly, but you're probably getting an outdated view, which isn't a big deal because most of the time nothing has changed, right? And you don't really care about that. It'll update in the background once it get it, but it's no longer waiting for it. Yeah, um,
well,
it's funny that to me it's just funny. That's it.
what I need to try next time to see if it works. Um, Almost every time when I take a drive from one machine, from an old machine, and somebody wants to put their stuff on the new machine that they just bought. So I connect that drive through SATA and I go to it.
Okay.
In most cases, in all cases, if you go to the user profile and you try to open it, first it says you don't have access because it's from another machine, and you have to hit continue, and then it'll go.
You're
It
talking about the administrative prompt.
No,
The
I'm talking about
you
just
you do not have access, and you get an icon, a
uh,
button with the shield icon, and
no,
then
I
you
get a
click on that.
pop-up in the middle that says you don't have access. You hit press continue to press continue to go on or something like that. Maybe it has a shield. I never paid
It
attention.
Yeah,
But
it's
at
this
that
is this has
point
to do with permissions. Yeah,
but at
okay.
that point, it will go real slow. It can take minutes. Not only that, when it reaches the end of the bar, it goes even to the minus and to the uh,
So I can explain
expand.
what's happening there if you want to, right? But it's doing what it's supposed to do.
Now, I'm wondering what will happen at that point if I hit the F11 again.
It won't affect
Well,
it.
you
Won't
see, that's
affect
what
it.
I'm saying. I need to try it.
So if you want to improve your performance of opening File Explorer, right?
Yeah.
There's a simpler way than clicking F11. Once you have File Explorer open, just go to the I'm talking Windows 11. Go to the ellipsis button on the right, go to options, right? And open File Explorer will say home. Instead of home, use this PC, and that loading screen goes away. That's the thing. It's what it's trying to load is something called home, which is like this complex view that loads a lot of stuff from different locations, like recent files. So those recent files, it also goes and it scans for its icons and grabs its file sizes, stuff like that. When you press F11, you're interrupting the load time, right? And it just re-renders things and shows it with all data. And you'll see if your computer is slow enough, you'll also see that data being populated a few seconds later. Okay.
Oh, all right.
Okay. Now, what you want is just File Explorer to open, and you're not using that view. And I think most people are not actually using that view. So all you need to do is sell it. Okay, instead of showing me that display, just show me home. Just show me my PC. Just show me the drive list. There's no load time there. That is the in effect what you want anyway,
Right.
and you do not need to remember to press any key. And that is a valid way of getting the exact same result that you're looking. So
Seems to me like
it's nice, but it's like really tech
well,
tech reporters, this is like this isn't even even a reporting. This is some user writing some anecdote on Twitter X, right?
yeah.
And a reporter quotes, I'm putting huge quotes, let's put it this way, they are no more reporters than I am, right? They're not even scratching the surface to understand what is going on and explaining what is going on. They're just repeating the bullshit.
Okay, Gal. Let's
Oh,
let's I feel your passion about this, but at the end of the day, it was a fun, cute little article that it was like, oh, I did this and this is what happened. This is
it's
cool.
not even an article, it's a repeating of a tweet
Uh,
without any context.
Oh,
Well,
So what value did you bring me except, oh, you already have some sort of audience because you work for some publication.
at the end of the day, they got what they wanted because we're talking about it.
They got what they wanted, right? What I'm trying to tell people is stop reading their bullshit. They didn't bring anything to the conversation. They wasted everybody's time.
Well, I enjoyed it. I feel bad for the reporter that's not a reporter.
yeah, I did too.
Right,
You,
but if the only thing you remembered here is press F11, then you were tricked into something that you shouldn't do. That's the thing.
well, you should get a burner phone and you should cyberbully this reporter. If that makes you feel better.
My real problem is it's probably reported in more than one place. There's nothing I can do.
Uh,
All I can do is come here every Sunday and complain.
I know it gets your gears grinding or whatever. I just gotta I'll just whisper F11. and then you're just gonna pop off.
Katie. Um, here's something ChatGPT or AI. Last week, Gizmodo's parent company fired the staff of its Spanish language site, Gizmodo en Español, and began replacing them with AI translations of English language articles.
Oh no. It's gonna sound like a Google translated document.
Now, G/O Media, whatever, I guess that's the parent company, decision to,
Is this after they replace the English writing ones with AI that will actually generate the article?
yeah, they took it from
Yeah.
Spanish to English and now they're going to do it again. Human Writers for AI is part of a recent trend of media companies experimenting. Now, you see, I hate that experimenting.
Yeah.
So don't fire the people, experiment, but
But
you're
that's part of the experiment. Is it
well
cheaper?
with AI tools as a way to maximize content output while minimizing human labor costs.
Look, at least they're not experimenting on animals.
However, the practice remains controversial within the broader journalism community. Of
You
course.
see, they actually think themselves as journalists. That's my problem.
Well, come on, give it to them.
Why?
Ah.
They they just go look. What the, w- in what capacity is it different than what we are doing here right now? Right?
I'm a
Those
journalist,
articles.
and I'm a journalist because I say
Where,
I'm a journalist.
where
I
we
have no degree.
No, it's not about degrees. It's
did
about the action that you do. They might be. I might give them. They are commentators. That's it. They don't. They if you don't bring anything new to the conversation, right? This isn't journalism. Journalism is about providing
Okay.
some added value to the information that you are.
Here here's what the Oxford Dictionary defines as a journalist: a person who writes for newspapers, magazines, or news websites, or prepares news to be broadcast.
Yeah, I understand that. I understand that completely, but I know what type of journalism I'm interested in, right? And if all you're doing is regurgitating something that was written elsewhere, whether it's whether it's false or imprecise, right? Then why am I listening to you? So my critique is about those who are regurgitating, those who just bring it without any additional commentary and without any additional value.
Mhm.
Right? So, yeah, somebody said that they pressed F11 and it works faster. And how, funny
I
enough,
say
I,
that?
I did the same. No, and funny enough, I did the same thing and it does. And it's fine if all I'm saying is, hey, somebody said that,
Yeah.
right? But doing so in a capacity of a tech journalist and not providing any insight of why it's doing what it's doing,
Yeah.
and what's
Well,
the
they were
use?
saying that it was a bug. I mean, how did they know it? Well, I don't know. It doesn't matter.
It's not
We
a
are
bug.
end users.
It's a shitty design. It was a shitty design to start with, and we're just stuck with that shitty design. But there is a way of bypassing that, and it's not even a secret or anything, right? It's just stop, think, right, and provide some insight of how you can see what's happening or something like that. But
Yeah.
yeah, doesn't matter. Yeah.
All right, back to chat or AI. AI experts at leading university favor creating a federal department of AI or a global regulator to govern artificial intelligence over leaving that to Congress, the White House, or the private sector. That's the top level finding of a new Axios Generation Lab from Syracuse University AI expert survey of computer science professor. The survey includes responses from 213 professors of computer science at 65 of the top 100 US computer science programs. Now, again, it's only 213 people out of millions and millions of people that are in IT. But what do you think? I mean, should there be a department of AI and
I mean, it really depends on its goals.
to regulate? To regulate. That's it. It's all
It's always more than just regulate because it's research, right? Uh, it has to include research. Um, AI is definitely. I don't know. Do we have a department of tech in some sort of capacity, like some sort of technical expert for the federal government? I'm
there's IT
sure there are.
departments
I just
everywhere, but that's about it.
right.
There's no yeah,
I mean, the FCC is dealing with a lot of the tech stuff, right?
yeah.
And the FCC isn't suitable to handle AI, that's for sure. They're just not structured in any way that would make sense for this. Um,
I would think the first one.
maybe, but I mean, definitely a maybe. I do not have a lot of against it. I do not have anything for it. It's something that needs to be examined.
Yeah.
What what I do not understand is what they mean not wait for Congress. If you want
No,
to
not that
build a federal
they're not talking
a
about
fed
not wait on Congress. They said instead of giving Congress the decision making about AI or the White House, they say no, create a department of AI and let them be the regulators. Don't let Congress regulate it. I agree with that because politicians making decisions about
but
this.
Congress are the ones who will need to build the agency,
Yeah,
no?
that's correct.
Uh,
Yeah,
yeah, so
but then
that's what I didn't mean. That disconnect. It's like you're slapping uh in your request, right? You're slapping the body that you want to actually make the ruling that you're that you're trying to advocate for. That's the part that I was missing. Unless the government can create an agency without Congress, I do not know.
I don't know, but if
Yeah, I'm no legislator. I do have
oh,
zero understanding
oh.
of this.
And something else about that involves AI, Microsoft says it will defend buyers of its artificial intelligence products from copyright infringement lawsuits, an effort by the software giant to ease concerns customers might have about using its AI copilot to generate content based on existing work. The Microsoft Copilot copyright uh, commitment will protect customers as long as they've used the guardrails and content filters we have built into our product. That's what the
I
general
mean,
counsel said.
that
Uh,
that is a bold move. It is necessary. I really think it's necessary because whoever is using it will not want to expose themselves. And if they are providing some sort of guarantee of will be there with you, right, will give you some protection. It's interesting. It'll be interesting seeing
uh, what-
the fallout of this, right? Like the court cases that might rise from it. But yeah,
it
this
also
is
said Microsoft said also pledged to pay related fines or settlements and said it has taken steps to ensure its co-pilots respect copyright. There was an
again.
article about copyright about the co-pilots, both of them, and that's what the commentator, journalist, whatever you want to call him, said that it's not for the average user because it's $30 a month.
You're,
Wait,
you're I
what's the
think you're talking
copyright?
about
Or
GitHub Copilot.
Huh?
So GitHub's Copilot,
I'm
that's the only
talking
one I
about
know
the
of.
Microsoft, like Microsoft Team has, or Microsoft Office.
you
Maybe
can
Office.
you
Okay.
can in the Power App stuff, you can integrate AI, and I wonder if that's what you're talking
No,
about when
no,
you say how you
the
create it.
Copilot is an actual product of
So the first
Microsoft.
Copilot product from Microsoft was the GitHub Copilot.
Okay,
Okay. That is a paid subscription where you work with a development environment like Visual Studio Code from Microsoft, and you hook up to the GitHub Copilot. And while you're writing code, the artificial intelligence is suggesting and providing
okay,
code suggestions.
okay. Yeah, this
Now
is
you're
not.
talking about the Microsoft 365 Copilot,
Yeah,
which is the new artificial AI offering of
Microsoft.
content creation on the
Yeah,
Office suite, emails, stuff like
right.
that. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, especially on a paid subscription, I would say that is a very good stance. I think they are understanding their market very well at this
Well,
point, right? I just don't know like where things will fall, but this is an interesting approach.
So while you were I had a thought about talking about copyright stuff. Um, I know AI. My This is my basic understanding. Again, I'm not a tech person, but it's a learning application essentially, or a learning brain where you give it something, it can analyze it, and it can spit something else out that is similar. I'm like bare bones in it, right? So, what's to stop, say, a company um making their own? So if they're worried about their secrets getting out or copywriting, to get one of these AIs that it's like infant, baby, and feed it their stuff so that that's their stuff's in the, like controlling what goes into the AI, without any outside influences, and then that AI learns the stuff within the ecosystem, and it becomes like their own personal AI thing. Does that make sense? Like, would that
Yeah,
get around? Would that
that
get
is
a
exactly what models are. So when when they're talking about the Chat GPT 4 interface, okay, uh, there are there are two aspects to it. Very similar to game development. There is the engine itself, right?
Mhm.
And there's the data that it's based on,
That makes sense, yeah.
right? So in gaming engines, you'll have the game engine and you'll have the actual programming of the game that runs on that game engine, right?
Yeah, yeah, that
So
makes sense.
it's a very similar analogy. So here, the AI, the logic itself, ChatGPT 3 or 2.5, that's still open source, right? And that exists, and you see it. You can find it online, and then you go and find a model that you load into that architecture of logic, right? And that model is based on, it's basically the learning database that has been collected already. Okay, that is what builds it. Uh, what you're describing exists already. It's just the difference is when you're using something from OpenAI, which is, I think, what Microsoft is selling, right? The stuff that OpenAI
yeah,
develops, they have the best of these right now.
Mm,
And those are not openly available. So nobody else can run something like that. If you're looking at just what your company creates, then you're looking at a very limited data set and the quality of the results will be very, very low.
mhm,
But when you're looking at millions and billions of data points, that is when AI starts kicking in and being effective. That's the real problem of this whole thing, right? Is how do you create, how do you get data points that will actually be worthy? So there's a few solutions like this that already exist. and are freely available, and they are either, like sort of freemium, where you get an open source project that you run, and for some additional fees you get additional features. uh, One of these connects to your company's chat engine, right? A lot of companies are using Teams or are using Slack to communicate, stuff like that. There's already a lot of communication going back and forth between the people of the company. And sometimes you're looking for a detail, a specific detail that went on in some sort of, you're sure there was some conversation about it. So you can either look for the specific detail, which is hard to be precise on, because if the wording was a bit off, then you won't find it. Or you can let the AI ingest everything in the conversation, make a database out of it, and then you go and ask, hey, when did we tell the customer that their system is on or the system is off? And then it shows you had a conversation at this and this date about this, right? Or what's the port number for this and this machine somewhere? And if you talked about it in the past year, you'll find it, right? AI does that. That's based on the information. But when you're talking about creative is a lot harder. You need
Mhm,
a lot more data points.
mhm. It's complicated.
That was a long-winded answer of it exists. It's just it's terrible.
Above my pay
Terrible,
grade.
terrible, terrible, terrible. All right.
And it and Katie, it will be more popular. It's just we're not there yet.
Give it another 2 months, and then
Maybe.
something else will pop out.
So remember we were talking about LastPass? Ac-
LastPass.
LastPass. In November 2022, the password manager service LastPass disclosed a breach in which hackers stole password vaults containing both encrypted and plain text data for more than 25 million users.
Oh, Lord.
Since then, a steady trickle of six-figure cryptocurrency heists targeting security conscious people throughout the tech industry has led some security experts to conclude that crooks likely have succeeded at cracking open some of the stolen LastPass vault. Um, I would hope that if you, I mean, Gal, if you, when we're talking about a vault, so if you downloaded somebody's vault and it has the password of ABCD, now the company said, yeah, we were breached, blah, 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 and you go and you change the password on your vault now.
Yeah, but
That,
they have a copy of that vault.
huh?
They have a copy frozen in time of that vault.
Right. Which, who?
Whoever stole the
Whoever
vault,
stole it. So the
a copy of it.
ABCD password will still work on it because that's the password
Yes.
on it.
Yeah.
So there's,
So think of a vault as an Excel sheet with a password. Okay, think
right.
about it like that.
Yeah.
Okay. Uh, once you once you have the file, and nothing will happen to the file, no matter how many times you try to open it,
Mhm.
which is always the case because once you have a copy of it, right, nothing, then eventually you will be able to brute force open the vault.
Yeah.
I am guessing that it will require, by today's standard, uh, very high level of computing power,
Yeah, that
a lot
that's
of
not the
computing
point
power.
here.
But
Let's
yeah,
say yeah. So when if somebody had their vault stolen,
hmm
breached, stolen, and
hmm
what what should they do?
they can do nothing except change the password on all of the accounts that
Right.
the vault
So that's
is
what they
stored.
need to do.
Yeah. I mean, if you have your password to your bank account there,
Yeah.
change it. If you have
Change
your
that.
password to your email account, change it. If
Right.
you because all of these endpoints are going to be used to
Yeah.
try and
Try to get to.
access your content.
Right. So the only thing that you can save yourself or protect yourself is to change the passwords that the bad guys are going to be using in order to get to your stuff.
Right?
Because the fact,
And with cryptocurrency,
yeah,
move your cryptocurrency to a new wallet
to
with a new
another,
seed.
yeah,
Either completely, yeah, because you're otherwise you're screwed.
yeah, yeah. That's bad stuff.
That's terrible stuff. And I
Yeah,
think the worst part of it is um if this happens to you and you're a uh, you have a security mindset,
yeah,
it is something that you cannot let somebody else do for you, fix for you, because then you're still exposed to
yeah.
that somebody else, right? So it needs to be, it's 100% on you. There's no way around this.
Right. And you should do it
Yep.
because, I mean, to get somebody else to do it for you, it's going to cost you a fortune.
And you're still exposed
Yeah.
because somebody else did it for you.
Right. Yeah. I
I
mean,
have
it's a daunting
like
job
I'm trying to think, should I say it online or not? In
on a,
my password vault right now, right? In my encrypted vault, I have 3,181 entries.
mhm,
Okay. Uh, I probably need some way of cataloging within that vault what is, I would say, a vulnerability
critical.
level
Yeah. Yeah.
one
Yeah.
that I should be able to go through it quickly in case
A
of me
breach.
suspecting that my vault has been
Yeah.
breached. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. That will make things easy. Absolutely.
Now, one of the things that can help, right, on the immediate level is if you have two-factor, multi-factor authentication already set up, right? Um, uh, for the critical services, and not for 99% of the critical services, for 100% of the critical services, that second factor authentication or multi-factor authentication should never be part of that same vault, right? There should be no interconnection between the vault and the multi-factor authentication resource you're using. I use multi-factor authentication on any site that any web service that will give me multi-factor authentication. I will add that. But some of these I manage inside my vault, right, with the login and password. That is for my convenience.
Mhm.
It is low risk. I look at it as low risk, and so I manage it together. The high risk ones, right? The multi-factor authentication is in a separate system. It can be just the same vault system, just a different account, but there shouldn't be no cross. Uh, let's call it contamination, right? There should be no cross identification between them. Like this one shouldn't contain the password to that, etc. So at least you have two separate silos, right? This is a good way of protecting yourself, because once you hear about the breach, that's usually very late in the process of being
Right.
breached,
Yeah.
right? The data is already out there. So at least for a while, you're protected by that until you make changes.
Yep. Good info. Um, Here's something kind of funny. Not funny, but funny. Toyota says a recent disruption of operation in Japan based production plants was caused by its database servers running out of storage space.
And
On
again.
a recent disruption to operations was because their database servers ran out of storage space. Talk about funny.
What are we talking about?
Toyota.
Oh man.
On August 29th, it
Well, I
was
mean, this is the company that when you hit the brakes, right, the car would accelerate. So maybe, I don't know.
on,
Damn.
on August 29th, it was reported that Toyota had to halt operations on 12 of its 14 Japan-based car assembly plants due to an undefined system malfunction. As one of the largest automakers in the world, the situation caused production output losses of roughly 13,000 cars daily, threatening to impact exports to the global market. And they said that it was because of their database servers running out of storage space. So, Toyota's CEO's nephew, who was their IT department, I guess, it
I
needs to
mean,
get.
that's exactly how it sounds. It's like, what the?
How do you run? I mean, this is a big company, probably with a huge IT department too. How do you let that happen? Yep.
I wonder if the incompetence here, right, is on the technical level or the managerial level of not, right, like, I mean, I'm just trying
They
to imagine these being discussed, right? Like for months on months on months, and just somebody just shushing because I don't know, there's no budget right now or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, no, they should have
It's
listened to the show, to the
I
specials,
don't know.
and
It
buy
feels
some
like
hard drives on specials from somewhere.
this is
It's
yeah,
hard
it's
to
Nick's fault. Yeah,
it's hard to understand something like this. I mean,
We'll blame Nick. He's not
yeah.
here to defend
yeah,
himself, so we'll
Well,
definitely
because
blame
Nick.
him.
Ah, come on.
yeah, run
I'll
out of room.
actually I think this I'm gonna try to find this uh
Story.
this story. I wonder well, sorry. Yeah, I'm registered to I follow the subreddit of data hoarders. I haven't seen this. If this hasn't been posted there yet, this is going to be a
Well,
field day.
yeah,
I'm sure
find
it's
out.
there though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, um, old game and computers are an operating system are not out. Canadian prisons allow prisoners to buy devices such as personal computers and gaming consoles, but severely restrict the technology. Nominally on security grounds, modern gaming consoles are forbidden on the grounds as they can connect to the internet. So the typical purchase is a PlayStation 1. Now, I don't know what that.
Wait, a PS1?
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, because
What? Dude,
it's not connected to the net. Interesting.
Yeah.
I don't think the PS2 was either, was it?
PS2 was already had internet connection.
It did? No,
It
PS1 is
had.
awesome.
It wasn't good, but it had.
Dude, I had a PS1. That's awesome. They get to play that.
No version of Microsoft Windows more recent than Windows 98 is allowed
Wow.
Where is that?
in Canada. Canadian
Canada
prisons.
jail. Yeah.
Oh,
No
jail.
device that can play MP3 files is allowed.
That's weird. Why?
I don't know. The
Copyright,
regulation,
I'm guessing. They
the
don't want to deal with it.
I don't know why. The regulations forbid operating systems other than Microsoft DOS or Windows and any software capable of creating a program such as a compiler, as are database programs capable of altering or manipulating SQL databases. Although learning job skills is encouraged, programming is evidently not considered appropriate.
Huh.
The relationship of most of these restrictions to security is obscure. I mean,
Yeah.
Windows by itself plays MP3. Windows 98 plays MP3.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yes, but you need to download software in order for it to do it. I
Oh,
think
that's
the
true.
OS
You're right.
itself did not play
Yeah,
MP3.
that's true. Yeah,
We had to download the Winamp to do that. Otherwise, you're just working with WAV files.
yeah, yeah. But interesting.
Yeah, weird. I think US prisons actually have internet
Oh,
access.
yeah, they do.
So
Yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, some of them I know have libraries, like regular libraries that they've got computer access and they can well, well, what I've seen, I haven't researched it. They could take computer classes and they can get educated in some facilities so that when they leave prison, hopefully, they have a good start, hopefully on
Mhm.
trying to get a job. But I don't know. It depends on the state because I also see too some really cool programs of fostering animals at prisons where they like take dogs and cats and they'll train the dogs and so there's some really cool programs out there.
And talking about Windows, Microsoft has quietly revealed that WordPad, a basic word processor that's been including with Windows since 1995, is being retired. WordPad is no longer being updated and will be removed in a future release of Windows. The deprecated feature of Windows client page on Microsoft Learn notes. We recommend Microsoft Word for rich text document
yeah, and they have the free version online.
online.
So
That's what they're saying. Now, I don't know.
uh,
I don't think I ever did anything rich text.
so I can tell you what was my use of WordPad
Okay.
when I'm working with remotely with a customer.
Yeah.
I
Yeah, for
sometimes they
chatting.
no, so sometimes they leave the computer, right?
Yeah.
And you need to grab their attention
Yep.
somehow. I would open WordPad. I would write like an "Are you
Something.
there?" or something, and just make it as cover
But why
the
not?
page
Why not?
and
What?
flash it like select, unselect, so they'll see it from afar.
Okay. And I guess you can't do that with Notepad.
Notepad, you cannot change the font size. I
Yeah, you
think the new
can.
ones you
No,
can.
you
No,
can. But
no,
I
you
don't
need
know
to
about.
go to the menu and it's not just,
Yeah. Right.
just select. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah. Uh, I I mean, nobody used WordPad or word process. Let's
Try.
put it this
True.
way. Maybe the
And-
guys in the federal prison in Canada, maybe they use it, right? But because that's what they get. But and yeah, it's not a very useful tool. It's okay. It did what it did back in the day, but yeah, I doubt it's a major tool for a huge population. Right?
yeah.
There's probably a very small population that still uses it. That's fine. I'm not dishing them. I do not understand where they're coming from, right? So I have no opinion about that. But it's like, yeah, it's time.
Yeah.
Hey, they finally did update Notepad, right?
I
Windows
don't know.
11 Windows 11's Notepad is not the one from Windows 10. It's a completely revamped software, much more modern, has tabs, can open multiple. Uh, it's still very limited, which is okay. I think the basic editor in the OS needs to be a very, very lean
Right.
uh, a piece of software.
but it has been modernized. It has been improved.
I use Notepad a lot with certain customers when they send me information to put on their website. If you take text that they send, and now the text they send is all semi HTML. I mean, it's HTML, but the um, apostrophe is weird.
Okay.
It's a different code, and when you display it and you go to edit it, it's got a bunch of junk in the HTML.
You're
In
talking when something is edited in something like Word,
Yes,
there are
or in
control
Outlook. In
characters
Outlook,
or
they just send you
yeah,
an
yeah,
email.
Outlook is Word. So the
Yeah.
editor that Outlook uses at its base, it's just basically a control from
Okay.
Word.
Okay. Yeah.
And what happens there, yeah, I know what you mean. You mean dashes and
Yes.
quotes and stuff like
Quotes.
that
Right.
because it creates it to be human readable.
Yep.
So you have an opening quote and a closing quote, which
Yeah.
are different. Yeah, and when you pass it to Notepad, it
It
normalizes it.
normalized.
So yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. And that's the only thing I use it for.
So by the way, for that specific thing, you do not need Notepad anymore,
Why?
right? Because Windows 10, I think from 2020 or maybe
Whichever.
2019 already has a clipboard manager. So if you use the Windows key and V instead of Control V for
Yeah.
pasting, if you use Windows V, then it'll ask you if you want to activate the clipboard manager. Once you activate the clipboard manager, it starts tracking your clipboard. It keeps a number of old clipboard
Yeah.
copies in memory for a limited time, by the
But
way. So it's
where's the
not.
normalizing come in place?
So when you want to paste,
Yeah.
right, you can, instead of just hitting enter and pasting whatever, you can do, I think, Control Shift Enter, and it'll just paste plain text.
I'm going to try that next time.
Yeah.
'Cause, yeah, that's easier.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yep.
By the way, even without the clipboard, I think Control Shift and V instead of just Control V in some applications, not
Well,
every.
I mean,
In some application, it'll paste plain text. Okay.
I mean, I use the Linux.
Yeah, in Linux it works. Control Shift V works.
It does?
Wait, I
Yeah.
think sorry, my mind just realized what you said. To paste plain text, I've done that by right clicking and then there's a paste in plain text option.
Where?
Yeah.
In what?
And it's usually tied to Control Shift and V
How do
instead of
you
just Control V.
wait? How do you paste?
I mean, I just so if I have Google Sheets or Google Docs
Yeah.
open and I need to paste, I right click in the Google Doc and then where I would normally paste and then
Oh,
say
so
paste that plain text.
that may be a feature of Google
Right.
Docs.
It's always a feature of whatever you're
Yeah.
using, but usually it's tied to the key combination Control Shift and V. Okay?
I'll try. You mean that's okay to do, but F11,
That's not a bug. That's a feature. I mean,
let's not go there again. No,
yeah,
no need.
exactly.
Yeah.
There's a lot that is hidden, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You can read the manuals. Nobody reads the manuals. The main reason I know about it is because sometime in the past I've been exposed to it. Since then, I've been using it, and it is consistent, right? And I'm always happy to share tricks. It's just dumping knowledge is never a solution of
Oh.
teaching tricks, right? So
I'm reading the chat, and it's going back when we were talking about the phones. Alan is saying, Lily Tomlin, I remember that she said, "We don't care. We don't have to care. We're the phone company."
yeah,
Yep. And John says, "You want a commentator?" Yes. You want to be a commentator on the show, John? You got it.
That's what we're doing. We're
Yep,
just
that's
commenting on the
it.
news. Yeah.
I say it's even more than that. I mean, the discussion is fine. It can be considered news, but the articles
It's
are
news to
just
them.
regurgitating what was done, what was already said during the week. But more stuff comes up when we start talking about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. All right, it's time.
Speaks for yourself. I'm a journalist.
Anything else, guys?
Nah.
All right. Well, I guess that's it then. Oh, yeah. I wanted to mention something that's really kind of a complaint.
Uh-oh.
UPS. UPS screwed up in the last month 3 times with delivering stuff for me.
Wow.
First time, they couldn't deliver it. They say it's undelivered, and they returned it to the seller. When I saw that note, I ordered another one from Amazon, another thing, and it came back the 2 days later fine. I then called Amazon and said, "Look, this one was returned. I need a refund." Okay, they sound fine. Well, yeah. The next day, I saw that it was out for delivery. What the hell? But they said that they returned it. So I waited, and about noon, I got a notice it was delivered. I said, okay, I mean, it's fine. I can use another one. I'll just keep it. I went outside looking and looking and looking, nothing. I went to the camera and scanned around the time when they said that they were here. No truck, no car, nobody stopped at the driveway. I went and started from earlier. No UPS truck. I said, this driver is lying. So I called Amazon and I said, look, I asked for a refund and did such and such, and here's the situation. Said, don't worry about it, Mr. Nissan. You don't have to pay for it. Then there was the situation where I ordered an ogre, and I got a notice that it's undelivered, and I saw him zipping by the house, going down the street. So I went outside and waited for him. And when he finally came, I motioned him to stop, and I said, "Do you have a package for 5421 Wayne Street?" He looked, said, "Yeah." I said, "So why didn't you deliver it?" He said, "I couldn't find it. I can't find it." So I said, "Look at the post over there. There's a big blue sign. What does it say?" It says, "Oh, 5421." I thought it was up there in the offices. And I'm saying to myself, why do you think why do you have to think that it's there? Why can't you just follow
Your GPS?
GPS?
Hmm.
Yeah, but the
Now,
GPS pin probably is like a bit closer to the offices, and he just didn't look with his
no,
eyes outside.
No,
that's too bad. That's not what you're supposed to do.
I
the
agree.
the GPS thing, I don't know what GPS they're using, but Waze and Google,
Yeah, they're not using any of that.
they get it
They
spot
do.
on.
No, they're using some closed system that somebody else controls the data flow. It does not come from a Google or from a you know how the system
I
works.
called UPS and complained, and I asked the rep who was here in Raleigh. I said, Do they use GPS? She said, "Oh yeah. I mean, he should be able to come right to your driveway."
They use GPS. They do not use the Google ones or the Amazon
It
ones or
doesn't matter. They use something that would bring him to that number. That's the ones. I don't care what you use, as long as you have some device that tells you, "Yeah, you're here." And
I'm not defending him.
and
Don't
you know what?
understand me correctly.
With Amazon, I don't know what they're using, but it's unbelievable GPS
Yeah,
because
Amazon, yeah. The
because
Amazon system is different.
many times he has to come. He knows where it is, but he has to, in order to take the picture, he has to come all the way into the, almost halfway down the driveway in order for it to work and say, "Yes, you delivered it." It's not just. I mean, if he put it at the edge of the driveway, he can't take the picture of it and mark it as delivered. That's
Yeah,
nice.
because you
But
got a long driveway.
yeah,
So
It
well,
counts it as a street.
the UPS system, right? Now, I'm not talking from internal knowledge. This
yeah,
is an assumption.
yeah.
I am basing it on gut feeling alone, right? But the UPS system is an equivalent to 2018 nav system you get with the car, right? It's something that updates slowly. It is static. It is
Yeah.
not taking into account a lot of stuff. And I'm not defending them, but the guy, right? The delivery guy, if this is the first time he's delivering to an area that he hasn't seen before, right? There are signs outside. You can even work when there's no GPS with a map and still get to your house, Amnon.
Oh,
So
I understand.
that's what I mean,
And
right?
his reasoning, I thought it was up there in the offices, is
Yeah.
also that shows that he. Yeah, I mean, it's like a robot that is not that didn't get the information. All the addresses in the offices by us is a Jones Franklin Road. It's not a Wayne Street. So you were there and you delivered to a bunch of places, and they're all Jones Franklin. They're not Wayne. Now you're on Wayne. So if you're reading 5421 Wayne, don't think
Yeah,
it's
but
here.
he's not reading. He's looking
Well,
at the GPS that you said, right?
no,
And the
no, no,
pin
no,
isn't
no.
in the
I'm
right
talking about
location.
no. They look at the packages when they need to bring it because I see them all the time, getting a few of them, putting it, looking where they're supposed to, and then they start driving. So they need to know where they're going to, or they scan it, whatever. But no, they also look at the thing there to know where.
Right, but the
Well,
scanner tells them you're now next to blah blah blah. You're
yeah,
next to blah blah
yeah,
blah.
yeah.
Right?
I'm sure if it
And
was
so
over the fence, it'd say, "Yeah, this is where 5421." Maybe, but since I complained, they came twice. No problem.
it's because the
Different,
guy
different.
he
No,
needed
it's
to
not. No,
deliver
no,
one time.
it's not the same guy. It's a different guy. Different, a guy and a girl. I don't know what's wrong with this particular route. Hannah ordered something to come here, and she said she followed. And they also have something that you can follow, just like Amazon, where the driver is. The way that the truck was going is unbelievable. He passed by our street and the house 4 times before he came to deliver it.
They're probably on their
It's,
phone while they're driving.
I have no idea, but it was weird. He went to the other side of Jones Frank, and every time he parked, and you know that he was delivering. I don't know, UPS, and it's been like this past years too. We can't. There's no apartment number, but it's a house. It's not an apartment. Oh, well, why do you think that it has to have an apartment number?
They do not
It's
know how to read maps. Come on,
I don't know.
it's as simple as
Oh, I'm
that.
sure they don't. Not many people these days do.
No,
Anyway,
all you need to do is train the first one, right?
uh,
And then the next time they know, and then when they have a new employee on that route, then he needs to
I
learn. It's the same thing all over
I
again.
told the rep, I said, look, I cannot recommend UPS to anybody. This is just ridiculous. I mean, the house has been here now for we've been living here for over 40 years. Come on. You know, not the first time you come here. But anyway, yeah,
It's a real estate scam. You need to move.
yeah. Anyway, I got it out. All right. So Nick never showed up. I'm going to duck his pay.
So, uh, when you read about the Canadian prisons
Yeah,
thing, did
yeah.
you read where the data is coming from? Because this is the interesting part. So, it is.
Oh, you have it? Or you asking me a
I
question?
was looking at it. It started by a reporting from
Oh, there's no.
CBC Canada.
Yeah, that's right.
Uh,
CBC Canada.
yeah,
I
uh,
remember.
uh, and it's about January 2022.
You're kidding.
No, no. In January 2022, what happened was the Correctional Services of Canada allowed inmates uh, to open Amazon accounts. Like there's an Amazon account for correctional
Okay.
for people in the correctional system,
Yeah.
probably their families, what's this called? The store
Commissary.
inside the prison. Yeah,
Commissary,
a
yeah.
commissary. So it's like an online commissary system, right? That Amazon runs for them, and through there, they have purchased $130,000 worth of vintage video gaming, and that is where the reporting comes from.
Oh.
So because of this, yeah, and the reason they're using Amazon, so the entire article is part of this curiosity about video games, but the other is about the system. And the reason that they're using Amazon is monitoring against price gauging and stuff like
Okay.
that
Okay.
with old technology, and that is why they have this
This
agreement.
rule. Yeah.
So that is an interesting part of it. That
Uh,
is, I think that's even more fascinating than the fact that they're using old technology.
That's
So
crazy that
yeah,
that they're using Amazon as a middle ground
is the dump
marketing thing.
the Amazon is the dumping grounds.
Yeah, no, that's pretty clever.
yeah, that's so even though the correctional system is intentionally dated, right? They are utilizing ways because they can. I'm guessing
Yeah.
they're splitting profits and stuff like that, but it's like it's so bizarre, yeah.
All right.
And they have good hard data because those accounts are flagged in a certain way, right? And so they can understand what's how how to market to that particular market slice.
No.
Very bizarre. Yeah.
All right. Thanks, Gal. And thanks, Katie.
No problem.
And good morning, Kathy, Hannah, Nabil, Mac, Norm, Katie, Donna, Dina, Mati, Eleanor, Sarid, Yaakov, and Yael. Thanks, everybody, for tuning to Computers to Connect. We hope you enjoyed and maybe learned something from our time together. Remember to practice safe computing. Back up your hard drive and update your virus scanner. And change any same passwords where you use them. We'll be back here next Sunday at 9, but you can always reach us at computers2know.com. Monday through Friday, 6 to 9 a.m. Nick is on Wilmington's 980 The Wave and 107.9 FM with his daily news and political commentary show. You can tell your Echo device to play 980 The Wave, or you can go to the recordings later on at nickcraig.com. And Tuesdays at 7 p.m., Nick and Brian do the Infection podcast on Twitch. Gaming news or in general, survival games, and some political commentary. So Tuesdays, 7 p.m., twitch.tv/infection podcast. Have a great week, everybody, and we'll be back together next week.
You are tuned to the Nissan Communications Network. If you tuned in too late, you can always watch each program in its entirety or download an MP3 audio file of it in the archives section at nissancommunications.com. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow us on Twitter, and like us on Facebook. Sponsored by StreamingGear.com, Carolina Apparel, and DeltaForce.net.